Hi, Brian Emmel here, and we're going to learn the fastest and easiest method for learning all the notes on a 5-string bass guitar. I'm going to use an excerpt from my book called the 5-string bass method, available through Hal Leonard Publishing. And in this book I have a lot of easy things you can do to get started on a 5-string bass, especially if you play a 4-string bass and you have a fear of crossing over to a 5-string or just adding it to your arsenal of instruments to learn. So a lot of my students are afraid to go to the 5th-string bass, but I tell them that once I crossed over to the 5-string bass, I use it almost every time I record because it's beneficial to get a lower sounding note since we are playing the bass. A lot of times too, the recordings today have players using 5-string basses on their recordings, and they can't learn their song the way it's really recorded because they have a 4-string bass. So in this book, basically what it explains is that if you learn and memorize just the primary notes of music, A through G, so those are 7 notes out of 12. If you learn and memorize those notes in their order on these 2 strings, the 5th string and the 4th string, you will automatically easily learn every note on this fingerboard, and I'll show you how. Beginning with the lowest sounding note on the bass, the 5th string B note, and you'll go up 2 frets and skip a string, and that's going to give you another B note, an octave higher in pitch. And then as long as you have a string you can skip, you do the same thing, go up 2 frets, skip, and you'll get the closest B to that previous B that you learned. Now when you're learning, I call this the 4-fret bracket approach. It's based off of your 4 fingers and what you can reach at one time, and it's just the easiest way to isolate your learning and then progress up to the next 4-fret area and learn the same information, and then to the 3rd and final 4-fret area, and that will bring you to the octave, which if you notice on your bass you'll see usually 2 dots, and that just indicates you have now covered 12 notes up to the octave on that string where everything repeats itself, same information in the same order, just in a higher register. So there's almost like you have 2 bass fretboards connected together on the bass. So if you learn that, and then let's say the E on the 4th string, and do the same, go up 2 and skip a string to its octave, you'll get the closest E to that open E note. And now, to conclude, you have just learned all of the B's and all of the E's in that area of the fingerboard. To learn the accidentals now, I'll give you an example of how you automatically will know those, and you don't need to memorize those. You won't need a poster on your wall if you do this approach to learning. B and C, 1/2 step or 1 fret, they're right next to each other, so there's nothing in between those 2 primary notes. Same with the E and the F. So we have B, C, E, and F on those 2 strings we're going to memorize, and then we're going to have to memorize the order of the notes from there. But my example for automatically knowing an accidental or a sharp or a flat, if we have the C here and the D here, there's a note in between, like a black key on a piano. So what that note is, you have 2 titles that you have to learn by it. It's called an enharmonic equivalent, and that is a sharp title, which would be C sharp, because the pitch from C is being raised sharper, or we need to know it as D flat because the pitch from the D is going to be going lower or flattening. So there's two titles for an accidental, and it's easy to know those titles now because you learn just the primary notes and memorize them, and the notes you didn't learn will be an accidental. So I hope that helps. In the next video segment, you're going to learn all of the notes on the fingerboard, and I'm going to go through all of those for you and show you just how easy it can be, and hopefully that will extract the fear of playing a 5-string bass. So, starting on the 5th string open, we'll start with the natural notes in the musical alphabet, which will be B as our lowest note on a 5-string bass. To find its octave, or the next closest B to that open sounding B, we simply go up a whole step or 2 frets, skip over a string, and we will find the next closest B 1 octave higher in pitch from the open sounding B. To find the next closest B, simply do the same. Go up a whole step or 2 frets and skip over, and you'll find its octave on that 4th fret, 1st string. Now we'll continue on with all the other natural notes in the musical alphabet, starting now with C. C is located 1/2 step from the open B that we just played. Again, go up a whole step, skip over, 3rd fret on the 3rd string, C, go up, whole step, skip over. We have another C on the 5th fret, 1st string. Now the D, 3rd fret on the 5th string, up a whole step, skip to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Again, the same, up a whole step, skip over a string to the 7th fret on the 1st string. Now we have all the D's. Going to the E, a whole step up from the D, 5th fret on the 5th string, E, go up a whole step, skip over to the 7th fret on the 3rd string, E, go up a whole step, skip to the 9th fret on the 1st string, E. F is 1/2 step from the E, so we'll play the 6th fret on the 5th string, F, go up a whole step, skip to the 8th fret, 3rd string, go up and over again another whole step to the 10th fret, 1st string, and we have all the Fs. The G is 1 whole step or 2 frets from F. So G is on the 8th fret on the 5th string. So we have G. We go up a whole step and skip to the 10th fret on the 3rd string, G. Go up 2 frets, skip to the 12th fret, and now we have all of our G's. Now the A is a whole step from G, so we go to the 10th fret on the 5th string, and we have A. Whole step up and over to the 12th fret, 3rd string, A. Whole step up and over to the 14th fret on the 1st string, A. And we'll just take everything up or a little beyond the octave here, which most guitars have 2 dots. That indicates that you are basically starting all the information over as from the open sounding notes. So everything is the same from the octave up. So that would bring you back to the B at the octave on the 12th fret, which is where we started from the open sounding B. Now if you do the same going over to the fourth string and start from the open E, you will get E, and the same procedure, up a whole step and over, E. Now notice we can't go up and over another string because we don't have 6 strings. But by starting on that 5th string and now the 4th string, we are actually covering all of our notes on the bass fingerboard except for the accidentals. So now we have F, which is a half step away from E, or 1 fret, F on the 1st fret, 4th string, up and over to the 3rd fret, F on the 2nd string, G, 1 whole step from F on the 3rd fret on the 4th string, G, up 2 frets over, G is at the 5th fret on the 2nd string. A, located 2 frets or 1 whole step from G, A, 5th fret, 4th string, up, over, A on the 7th fret, 2nd string, B, 1 whole step or 2 frets up from A, B, 7th fret, 4th string, go up 2, skip, over to the 9th, on the 2nd, another B. C is located 1/2 step from B. So C will be on the 8th fret on the 4th string. Go up 2, skip to the 10th fret, 2nd string, another C. D located at the 10th fret on the 4th string. Up 2 frets, skip to the 12th fret or the octave, and we have the D, and right back where we started from, that open sounding E is now concluded at the octave at the 12th fret on the 4th string. And we have covered all of the primary notes in the musical alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That's 7 primary notes out of 12 possible notes in our musical alphabet. So to find the accidentals, simply raise that pitch. For instance, if we raise the pitch from F, I'll use that on the 4th string, F, and if we go up a 1/2 step or in between F and G, we would get the note F sharp or G flat. And you would continue on from the primary or natural notes to find those accidentals. Very easy. So whatever is a primary note, again, for example, G on this 4th string, 3rd fret. A, as we now know, is at the 5th fret. So what note lies in between those 2 primary notes? An accidental. G sharp, because the pitch from G is raised, or A flat, because the pitch from A is flattened. And then you would continue on in the same manner, and you will know all 12 notes on your bass fingerboard.